6 for Designing for the Web. Professor Pete here. Wow, time is flying fast. This week we're going to talk about interaction design because we're moving from the wonderful laptops and our computer screens to our favorite devices. Do you know that they say 95% of your living life will be within 1 or 2 meters of a phone? Think about that. It's crazy. So as I'm sitting here charging my phone, it's right next to me. When I'm in bed, it's next to me. So just within arm's reach. I think it's 1 meter away. 95% of your life, it's 1 meter away. These are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about mobile versus web, talk about screen sizes, human interaction. First off, let's look at screen sizes. So most of you are using iPhones. So here's an example where it's 5.5 or 6 inches in terms of your display size. The screen point sizes are about 400 by 700, and then it's up pixeled, they say. So the DPI of a phone is very, very high resolution now, especially the 11s and 12s and 13s, or the latest and greatest stuff. And you can see that ends up being downsampled. So it's pretty high resolution. So it's 1242 by 2208 rendered pixels. Here's the max, and so here's the screen sizes. Again, it's triple, so it ends up being 12 across by 26 up. So again, really nice screens, and this is the 6.5 inch screen. And you can see now it's some pretty random numbers. If we look at a laptop screen, this is pretty standard. It hasn't moved much. It's 1920 by 1080. The main takeaway from this is that our phones are vertical, all right, top down, while our laptops are horizontal. Major takeaway. And that changes everything when it comes to design. Another major thing, breakthrough with the phones, is that it's touchscreen. So when we talk about computers and the web, we have a keyboard and a mouse. So that's what we use to interact with the device. So here's my fancy Razer gaming mouse. But it's crazy, right? There's all these buttons on it. There's a scroll wheel. All right, we have to move it on the screen. Can you remember the first time when you first used a mouse and a keyboard? It was tough, right? You're like, whoa, what the heck? And now we're used to it. But with these phones, it's touchscreen. So we can just start tapping away, and it's very intuitive. And so we're no longer scrolling. We're no longer using a mouse pointer and navigating. We're just going right for it. So buttons, okay, as I'll talk a little bit later, become very, very predominant in the design. Let's look at some web to mobile designs, going from a browser, right, horizontal to a vertical layout. And so you can see here there's a lot of text that you can put onto a screen. That's for a laptop, but then immediately when you go to your phone, all right, you have to scroll, right? You're just going like this with your finger. There's not a lot of stuff you can put on a phone screen. So here you go again. Notice too, in terms of the placement, the layout is almost the same. It's about, at least on this here, it's about 60-40 in terms of image versus text. Same thing with the phone. But as you start to see later on, you start to see a lot more icons, a lot more buttons, and a lot less text in the phone version. So here's some other examples. The interface also changes. So remember for the web on a computer, it's horizontal, but now we're going to more vertical. And look at this one. All the text is totally taken out on the phone version of that same website. Still a website on the phone versus, and before and after. It's a really interesting way of going from a browser to almost like an app. Okay, so that's how you have to think about it. The buttons are bigger. There's a lot less text, a lot more image. Same with this, another design. A lot more buttons and a lot more pictures. Here we go again. Again, on the phone, you can't look at a website. As you can see, there's just too much stuff and the buttons are too small. And then we see the phone version. Under the mobile app, you can see there's heavy photos and images. There's buttons, icons, and then there's subtle hints, which I'll talk about to introduce you at least this week, and next week we'll go more in depth with it. Let's look at some different app genres. So we have entertainment, information, social, service, shopping, and then device-centric. So as we look at these examples, this should also give you some insight as to how you may want to come up with your own service or your own idea Also, again, look at the layout of this, right? So here we are looking at Dira City Center movies. Not that you would watch a movie now, but just look at the way everything is laid out. Notice how clean everything looks from the icons for the tickets and the different colors to separate things. These are all the little subtle hints that we're using color to help navigate the viewer's eyes. But again, one of the main takeaways is that it's really, a lot of the content is centralized, and then you have these massive buttons that say continue. You have a little sandwich interface on the top left-hand corner to help you navigate through the space. So here's a social app, just like Instagram and Facebook. A lot of icons. This is Kafu. I still haven't tried this, so I know I need to do it. But look at all those little subtle hints, especially with color, and how they're navigating you to just click here, click there, or have you tap this and tap that. It's just really clear and concise. This is something for your home. So this interface is also very clean. Notice the car icon and the light icon, very easy to gather. You don't have to read anything. Here's a coffee club. Okay, very clean as well. But again, notice how you have a lot of different little subtle hints, like this little X, after you've selected it. And then there's the next at the very bottom. And again, this horizontal bar. It's a different color. Everyone loves Netflix, so there's the splash screen. You can definitely make a splash screen for your second assignment. So a lot of people did that for the previous class. You can just have some looping that happens, and I'll show you how to do that for your splash screen. But again, look at the phone, and it's very clean. These very simple boxes, follows the grid, and then we have a little bit of detail in the example here on Stranger Things. So you also need to include a HTML, or at least a web page that would direct you to your app. So this is Kafu again. I just thought it was really, really clever how they have all these different icons of gas pumps, and then you have the phone, and then it just tells you right at the very bottom, it says enter your mobile phone number below to download the app. And so I think it's really good to use these guys as an example. And not only is it explaining what the service is, like no delivery fees, same price as the petrol station, but also it shows the app in the phone, and there's the really cool download on the App Store and Google Play Store. Now let's look at some game examples. So this is the website that appears on for Clash of Clans. I used to play this game a long time ago, so Supercell. But again, you have the screen from the phone. You have the interface on the top, and it tells you to download it. So this is what we would want to see in our design for our website. Okay, so all you need is one JPEG. It doesn't need to link to anything. It's just a JPEG of how it would look like designed. And I would use probably Photoshop to design it. Okay, so now let's look at some game examples and game interfaces, because I didn't mention this at all for at least the last assignment. But this is a really interesting way to lay out your design. So you can see there's all these different options and all these little simple icons. It's very straightforward. And notice again, like all games, there's not a lot of text. So as you can see too, it's very clear, right? Weekly tournament, golden eggs, and these other things. These other things I don't really quite understand. But then after you click on something, and you're probably going to a map, so you see little health bars and things and tokens that you could earn over time, because it's always pay to play for these games. But again, really nice map, very clear to see these little icons. Again, no text, all icons. And then you have this where you can go to the shop. So again, really playful in the way that they design the interface, and it's just in your face too, right? There's little tabs here as well, but then you've got the buttons. It looks very warming, inviting. It's green. Click this. It's shiny. Click this. Another really popular game. I played this game in bed for like 2 hours, and I said, okay, I need to uninstall this. I think I went to like level 20 in those 2 hours. I was playing it in my bed. I didn't even have breakfast. But here we go. Again, we have the map. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have level 8 with the goals. We have the stars. We have the objectives. We have the buttons. Hit play. And then we also have high score, and then link it to your Facebook account. And then this is the gameplay itself. So you can see the game on the right-hand side. Again, there's very little text. It's always about scores and stars, and maybe a timer or something like that. But notice too how bright the colors are. And again, I can't go into detail in terms of all the different types of games that you could hypothetically design for this course, but I primarily focus on the 2D games. Those really quick games that you could play for a minute or two. That's the kind of games I play. So notice that it's 2D, it's just flat, and you have all these bright colors to invite people in. And not to mention, you got really cool character designs. So there you have it. I just wanted to get you going, thinking a little bit about your idea and your topic. Again, it's a game changer. It's been like this for a long time, since the iPhone came out in 2007. Times have changed. So you grew up, using it. And so you're going to be the best people to be designing these apps and games for the future. How do they look? All right. What kind of images can you put in? What kind of ideas can you come up with? That's going to be the question that I'm curious to see if you can solve. So, long video. Professor Pete is out though. Take care of yourself and hopefully enjoy the video.